now. Okay, beautiful. Guys, we are an attractive bunch today. Damn. Okay. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Jessie. Okay, guys, now I have to see where did I play this music from? Which tab was it? Who knows? Just one second. There we go. Okay, friends, I literally always put on, oh my God, Jason! Guys, it's a real party now. It's a real party. How exciting. I'm going to put us on gallery view. Guys, we are so attractive. Oh my God. Friends, more peeps are going to hop on. Hello and welcome. And I am so freaking excited to see you. This is our, well, it was 27th at the time. And then I had a couple like side, real private entrepreneur parties. So it's really like the 30th. But welcome, guys. I'm so excited that you showed up. And we're going to have more peeps hopping on who are going to be fashionably late. I will just let you guys know exactly how these things work, and then I'm gonna give you guys the floor to introduce yourselves, and we're just gonna collab and come up with the next Facebook. Okay. So, and that handsome gentleman over there is Mr. Kenneth Jones, aka Kenny, aka the most fabulous, handsome man that shows up on my newsfeed, except for Jason and any other men who are on here who are extremely handsome as well. Guys, honestly, if we were any more attractive, I would have to print screen this and just put this in a file. Okay. Hi, Brad. What's up? Okay, friends. So do you guys see it in gallery view as well?
I think so, yeah.
You can see everyone? Okay, guys, this is so fun. Okay, so I'll let you know first and foremost why the heck I started these things. I don't know about you guys, but I found that so often, and you know what, friends, you just put yourself on mute just while other people are talking. I wish we could all go off mute, but someone always has a stupid little cat. No offense if you like cats. Stupid little cat.
I am the cat lady.
Meowing. Who's the cat lady? Raise your hand. Don't be scared. Okay, Jessie. That's okay. We'll forgive you. Even though we're more dog people here. No, I'm joking. I don't know. Okay, guys. So, anyways, the reason that I started these crazy parties is because I feel like, one, the entrepreneur community, like, are my favorite people in the whole freaking world. Two, I just love the idea that we all have amazing networks and resources, and there are so many ways that we can help each other. And three, it just so happens that people come here and then they end up finding clients. Not that it's in any way like a pushy, like pitchy kind of thing. Like, I hate that shit, and I'm sure you guys do too. But we end up finding clients, we find collaborators, we find business partners, we help each other solve problems, and we have FUN, which is, you know, English for fun. Okay. Amazing. So anyways, so we structure this in 3 chunks, okay? The first chunk, I ask you guys a ridiculous question, and we're all going to just like go around and share our answer. You can feel free to pass, but if you want to pass, then you have to e-transfer me $497 American. So feel free to pass. I'll send you my PayPal link, okay? Tell them, Kenny. Tell them. That's how we do it here. Hi, Damien. How exciting.
Hey, what's going on?
Guys, this is so exciting. We're such an attractive bunch. Okay. So that's part one, is an interesting question. And fun fact, I was on the way to the health and supplement store, as one does, on a 4 p.m. on Friday. And I asked my sister, what should our opening question be? And she gave us our very interesting suggestion today. And then part 2 is we're going to share what is the number one thing that we want and need in the next while for ourselves, right? So that can be a person you want to meet. That can be a resource you need if that's if you want more clients or whatever the hell you need. Put it out there and we're all going to help each other. And then the last thing is I'm going to open the floor for my area of expertise. And you guys feel free to ask any questions in that realm. And it would be my pleasure to stay on as long as you guys need to answer any of those questions. And we also have other people who are awesome experts who can share their expertise as well. Okay, friends, so the questions that we've done, before I reveal what today's question is, questions we've done before are, what was your worst, what's that sound? Is that Jesse's cat again? I feel like that's Daniela.
Everybody has to put their thing on mute.
Yeah, friends, if you don't mind just putting it on mute, I really appreciate that. Well, yeah, that's great. Okay, friends, yeah, so previous questions have been, what was your worst first date? That was a really fun one. And if you guys want to ask me that next time, oh my God. For me, it's a tie between Cameroon guy and pigeon sweater guy, but maybe we'll save that for another party. I've asked, if you could do anything illegal, what would you do? I've asked, what's a weird food combination that you like? I found out we're a lot of weirdos in the entrepreneur community, not surprised. But today, today's a tie between 2 questions. So I'm just gonna let you guys vote which one you guys actually wanna know about, okay? For this like Hollywood Squares edition of the Entrepreneur Party. Okay, so one is, when's the last time you were a little too drunk and what did you do? It's a safe space here on the internet, guys. No one can really hear this, okay? One. Or then the other question is, what is the weirdest thing that I would find in your browser history? You don't have to tell me about the weird porn you watch. Like, it's fine. No judgment. Like, we all have browser histories we're not 100% proud of. No big deal. But other than the weird porn that you watch halfway through the day because you just feel this existential angst, like, can I actually fulfill my highest potential? Probably not. This is too fun. Is my mic giving feedback? If it's positive feedback, that's okay. If it's negative, please mute yourself. Anyway, so, okay, so which of those 2 questions do you want to do? What's the weirdest thing in your browser history? Raise your hand. Okay. We have what? Okay. Jason, you get 2 votes because he's great. Okay, that's about 5. And who wants to do the, when's the last time you were a little too drunk and what did you do? Okay. Whoa. That was a weird. Okay, guys, well, I didn't do that great in calculus in high school, so I'm going to say pick whichever one of the 2 questions you want to answer and answer it, okay? I would love, Kenny, you're so beautiful. Would you go first? It's either last time you're a little too drunk or what is one weird thing you would find in your search history if you should just so happen to randomly die and we'd, probe into that.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Okay. These are 2 very incriminating questions. And so, in the conversation, you'll probably hear more about me and how I got here. So we'll talk about that later. So, okay. If you were my weird browsing.
Don't be scared. We're not judging here.
So, oh my God.
But we are recording. We're not judging, but we are recording. And I reserve the right to share this with whoever the hell I want. So.
Okay, great. Okay. So it's a tie between 2 things because I do them equally at my day job and before I go to sleep. Okay. So we'll see. Okay. The first is I am secretly in love with battle rap.
Me too.
I'm like, the underground battle rap, people talk about shooting people's heads off. I'm like, yes. I love that.
Oh my God.
Battle rap, you'll probably be like, oh my God, Kenny, you're watching like hours and hours and hours of battle rap. That's because each battle is like an hour and there's 3 rounds and it's like, whatever. The other thing.
Kenny, who's your favorite rapper?
Battle rapper or act, like, commercial?
More like of a mainstream one we might know.
Eminem, hands down.
Okay, well, I have some stuff to say about that, but did you see that dude, what's his name, Machine Gun Kelly, who did that, like, call-out rap to him? And it was like, and then Eminem wrote him one back? I have some stuff to send you.
Like, what you not gonna do is cover Eminem.
No, but you know what the thing is? His was like, this other dude's was actually really good.
It was good, but it wasn't better than Eminem's.
No, of course not. Of course not.
I mean, it's like honorable mention, like, girl, you was cute, but this is Eminem. It's like trying to compare Michael Jackson to sort of Chris Brown. Like, girl, no, it's cute, but it's Michael Jackson. Like,
okay, and then real quick, what do you think of Kanye's new stuff that's coming out these days?
No, thank you, Kanye. He doesn't exist to me. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I mean,
that slavery was a choice. Like, I'm sorry.
Honestly, I was on the Kanye's a Genius team for so long, and then it just goes downhill. It's problematic.
So okay, friends. That's it for Kanye. And the other part is I like listening to true crime murder mysteries. Like I have like these lists of 10 most scariest places that you don't want to go, or 10 scariest murders that actually happened with the pictures. Like, ooh, I'm not interested in doing that. Please don't think. But it's weird, and I'm entertained by true crime. Okay, bye.
Kenny, you're the best. I love it. And can you tell people real quick, where in the world are you? And like a Twitter version of what you do, just so everybody knows what everybody does. And BTW, if you use someone's services on this call, I will personally send you a random video that will actually really fucking help you in whatever area you want to work on. Because I strongly encourage you guys, if you have a way to use each other's services or to refer to each other, that would make me super happy. Okay, Kenny, what do you do and where are you in the world?
So hey y'all, I'm in the world. I'm in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, PA, better known as Philly, home of the cheesesteaks, like actually. So if you in a place that has cheesesteaks, it's not like Philly's. Please sit down. What I do, I am a dream maker, and I do that in the way of helping people publish their best-selling books. These are like some of my comeback kids that are Amazon bestsellers, New York bestsellers. I also have a speaker development series in which I teach people not about how to craft their message, but the science behind speaking, because I have a bachelor's in speech. And so there's a science behind getting beyond the fear of speaking. There's a science behind training the speaking voice, because I'm originally from Norfolk, Virginia. And when I talk to my mom, and I sound like this, but I'm also able to code switch and be able to be enunciated. So I teach people how to do that. So I have a book cohort and a speaker development series, and I wrote my best-selling book, Comeback Season, The Untapped Art of Mastering Your Resilience, which people call me the Comeback Kid.
Kenny, that's so wonderful that Jessie brought out a knife. She was just so excited. I don't know why. I don't know if any of you guys have ADD too, but she's so excited she brought out a knife, so that's cool. Friends, before I forget, I'm just going to take a quick print screen of us for #socialproof to prove that our party was extremely attractive. So if you guys could just quickly smize, aka pretend that I said something really funny, like 1, 2, 3. Amazing. Thank you, Jason. Extremely believable. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you, Kenny. You're the best. And you guys are all the best. Okay. Who has a burning anything or a burning desire to go next? Also, Jamie Noodleman, I see you. I acknowledge you. I know you came late. I saw you in the chat. I appreciate you. Okay. Who would like to go next? Don't be shy, Devin.
I'll go.
Okay, we'll do Devin and then we'll do Aubrey. Oh, I think you're still on mute, darling.
All right, are we good?
We're good.
All right, cool. As far as drinking, I get drunk like every weekend. Like I've been drunk almost every day, and I haven't drank for like 2 or 3 months. This week I've had wine like every night at dinner, and I just don't stop. So I think just mine is more just drinking too much for the last like 5 or 6 days. I did a lot of crazy stuff when I was younger, so just naming one thing would be like, I don't know. I got a DUI when I was 23.
I love this guy. I love this confessional. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And, Devin, where in the world are you / what's the Twitter version of what you do?
Okay. I'm in California right now, kind of 20 miles south of like Silicon Valley.
Cool.
So I'm in Tracy, Livermore, Pleasanton. I'm up and down California right now. I'm just everywhere over there, but mainly Northern California in the tech hub. And then what I do in a nutshell, I have a small agency. But really what the 2 main things we do is we rebuild marketing departments. So for like small to mid-sized companies, then we also do like the cliche stuff like account management, growth, and content creation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Rebuild marketing departments. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll ask you more about that after, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Devin. Aubrey, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi, guys. Hi, Paloma. I'm Aubrey. So the weirdest thing in my browser history is, I don't know if you guys know what ASMR is, but
pickles.
I'm really into sound. So like I listen to frequencies on YouTube for like productivity, and it really helps me kind of like get into flow and do a lot of work. So productivity frequencies and ASMR would be what's super weird.
I love that.
People make fun of me all the time because I listen to ASMR, but
what do you think of the pickle thing of the lady who, I think, well, there's probably lots of pickle people. And guys, if you don't know what this is, I would completely just leave right now and I would go look this up because it will change your life. It's like, you ever like hear the obnoxious sound of someone chewing? And some people find it gross, but it's like weird. Like they have these microphones that pick up on all the sound. And if you just feel like, ugh, if only I could hear the sound of saliva more vividly, this is what it is. So
it gives you tingles is really what it does. It's like a whole head body tingle experience. It's pretty cool. Not everyone can experience it, but I definitely do.
That's amazing.
So where I am, so I am originally from Alaska. But I currently live in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is about an hour north of Denver. And what I do, the Twitter version of what I do is I'm a keto and biohacking coach. So I help people use unconventional methods to lose weight without giving up their lifestyle.
That's fucking amazing. Jamie and Daniela just got really happy because literally this morning, okay, this connects to what I was going to say for my answer. So I guess I'll just real quick just sneak mine in there. What's the weirdest thing on my browser history is what butchers in Toronto will give ground meat with organ meats in it. And if that sounds real creepy to y'all, it's because it has like a lot of magnesium apparently, and it does something good for your gut or whatever. I don't know. Aubrey could tell you better than me.
I could.
But that's like just a weird thing in my browser history. So awesome. Thank you, darling. Who'd like to go next? Danielle, go for it. And then Brad.
Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Hey.
I'm Danny. I'm about to eat a cheese Danish from my favorite bakery, Grodzinski, so be jealous. I teach sexy Spanish to people for deep travel, deep connection with themselves and others. Everything on my browser history is very weird. And the last time I was a little too drunk was at our little sister's boyfriend's Halloween party, which was very boring, but a girl had just gotten back from Cuba. I had also just gotten back from Cuba. She bought a bottle of rum, and I went at it with just ice and just like learning my limits at almost 30 years old. So
Danielle, that's amazing. And did you by any chance share a uterus with me once or what?
We did come out of the same vagina. Yeah,
same vagina, guys. Same vagina, different year.
Same one.
Same one.
And here we are.
And here we are. Different vaginas, different rooms. It's same vagina, different rooms.
Yeah.
amazing. I'm sure you guys saw that.
I came out of it first.
I mean, but I came out of it better. So it's not a competition really in the end of the day, friends.
You did come out better. They had to suck me out.
That's disgusting. Okay. I just naturally slid out because I'm easygoing. No big deal. Okay, that's awesome, Danny. And where in the world are you?
I'm in Toronto.
Awesome. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Brad, would you go next? Oh, there you go.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
So drunk. So last time I was drunk, I don't drink much anymore, but I'm a wine expert. And I was with the chef at a restaurant, and they had the swinging lights over top of the bar. So we were all testing each other to see if we could swing in between the lights as they swing back and forth. And it wasn't me. Let's just say it was a friend. But they were pouring Louis XVI, which is like $250 a shot for anybody that doesn't know. They were pouring that, and that was obviously top shelf. And somebody got hit in the head with a light and knocked the top shelf and knocked all the bottles over. So it ended up costing like $16,500 or something that night. It was pretty crazy.
Oh my God. That was so fun. Brad, so is that what you do? You're a wine expert?
No, I don't do that much anymore, but I used to consult in that industry.
Yeah.
What I do now is every time you say brilliant, I show up and say, "Did you say brilliant?" So My company name is Build Brilliance, and I help people step into their genius zone, basically. Mostly through the power of story and narrative, but there are many ways. I also help some entrepreneurs just get set up. So people moving from breaking the golden handcuffs to just getting set up. Not a whole lot of money in that, though, so you have to have something to supplement.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Brad. And where in the world are you right now?
I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So go Pennsylvania for the other people in Pennsylvania.
We have 4 people in the same place. That's crazy.
Roll, look at that.
Damn, that's beautiful. Okay, awesome, guys. Thank you so much, Brad. Whose voice? Michelle, I'm just dying to know what your voice sounds like. I would just love to hear it. So you want to go next?
Sure, I can go next. Okay, weirdest thing in my browser history is probably recently I was looking up the Mandela effect. If anyone knows what the Mandela effect is, yes. So if you're not familiar with the Mandela effect, it's basically like things that we were familiar with that were in history have now like shifted. And an example of that is like if you ever remember reading like the Berenstain Bear books, like it was Berenstain Bears. Well, now apparently it's changed to Berenstain Bears. And apparently it's always been Berenstain Bears. So now if you actually go and look up the books, it says Berenstain Bears and not Berenstain Bears anymore. Wow. But there's a whole like list of them, and I was watching like YouTube videos and went down the rabbit hole of like all these crazy things that have like changed since what we actually remember them as.
Crazy.
So
okay, well, as you can see, Kenny's face is like how I'm actually feeling on the inside. Like he's my emoji as a person, and he went like this and like this. So that you basically changed my childhood.
I know, that's how I felt. That's why I was like, oh my god. So that's why I like went down this rabbit hole, and it like blows your mind.
I understand that.
Like your head wants to explode. Crazy. When you watch this stuff.
And where in the world are you, and what's the Twitter version of what you do?
I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Canada.
Yes. And I help entrepreneurs and digital marketers get leads organically on Facebook.
Beautiful. Okay, great. I feel like someone should say I help people get leads orgasmically. That would, like, it's good organically, but maybe a level up, the premium, the high ticket version. I'm always looking for high ticket. We could talk, Michelle. We could talk. I could hook you up with some of those, like, woo-woo people who would help you do that. Amazing. Thanks, darling. Victor, you share the same name as my dad, and that's cool. So why don't you go next?
Hi, well, unfortunately, I'm not your dad, so that's
No, it's fortunate, sweetheart. It's fortunate. It's a good thing.
Yeah, so I'm from Melbourne, Australia, all the way from the other side of the world, where you guys are.
Wow.
I guess the weirdest thing in my browser would probably classical music, even though that's not that weird, but because of my age, most of my friends, they listen to like EDM, and then they see me listen to classical, and they're like, who the fuck is this weird person, right? So that probably is my weirdest thing in my browser history.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And would you tell us, what's the Twitter version of what you do?
What I do, I guess, yeah, I'm a high ticket closer. So yeah, I help coaches, influencers, and entrepreneurs close their high ticket offers and services.
Woo, Victor, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to meet you guys. All the new faces, I'm excited to meet you. All the old ass faces, Kenny, I love you. Jamie Noodleman is a classic.
Jamie's a classic. Hey, Jamie.
Jamie's a classic. Daniela's an original gangster. She's been with me since, well, you know, I slid out of my mom's vajay. So anyways, it was a lot like this, you know? Anyways. Okay, Jason Hewitt, a legend, a hero, a rock star, prolific, strong, intelligent, wonderful.
Sounds good.
Tell us about you, my friend.
About me. Okay, so let's start with this. Two things come to mind that are strange in my browser history. I'll qualify it this way. I'm not talking about the last time I got drunk, because my wife and I just celebrated 18 years marriage, and she's never, well, thank you, but she's never once seen me drunk. So,
wow.
So there's not, that would go back into foggy memories for good reason. So browser history. One thing that if somebody just stumbled upon my browser and saw this, they might think is odd. A podcast, here, I'll put it in the comments here. A podcast that I work on called Can You Guess It? And it is, let's see if I can share this. It is a podcast of an 8-year-old boy and his dad playing basically 20 questions, but they do it in a 10 question countdown format. If somebody came across this, they'd wonder, why the hell are you listening to an 8-year-old boy play a game? Which I think is a little odd. Now that's the holistic one. Probably the strangest thing in my browser history is a browser hijacker that I caught looking at porn about a month ago. Let me qualify that. I'm 43. Factory is closed. We are not having any more kids. Look at Kenny.
Kenny is my emoji. Kenny is my Insta.
So,
really.
Without getting, well, there's no way to talk about this without just laying it out there. I've had a vasectomy. Like, it's done. But I never got tested. You're supposed to go back and make sure that, like, you're good to go. I didn't do it. So my wife scheduled this appointment for me recently, and I really didn't want to do this, because you got to, like, you either go into their office and take care of yourself. It feels like 1,000 people watching you do the dirty deed. Or you do it in the privacy of your own home, and then you walk in proudly with a cup with your own biological sample. Either way, it's just not right. So
she didn't tell you you were going to be doing that tonight here on Zoom?
I don't know who that was who said that, but I appreciate you.
That's $497 a person. $497 a person.
Yeah, Jason, we hate to break this to you, but your wife set this up. You've been punked!
Right. So, with her blessing, here I go. I'm taking care of business on my own. And now I have a fucking browser hijacker. Every time I open my browser now, it reminds me that this is what you get when you spend time on the internet doing stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing.
Wow, guys. I just feel so much closer to all of you guys now. Yeah. Honestly.
We're talking about my sperm. Great.
You know what, Jason? I love it. You're great. Your sperm's great, I imagine.
We can all just talk about our sperm.
Yeah. Daniela, how's your sperm count these days?
My sperm is great. I'm very fertile.
I've been told that I have the biggest dick on the internet. So this is great, guys. Katie, I know you're joining late, and you were like, why the hell are fuckaronis talking about this? Well, I suggest that everyone, the next networking meeting that you go to, when they're like, what do? You just start off by saying about your browser history and just see what happens, you know? Just see what happens. That's awesome, Jason. So do you want to tell people real quick, you told us where you are, right?
I didn't. I'm in Tampa. I'm in the Tampa Bay area of Florida.
Okay. And do you want to give them the Twitter version of what you do?
Yeah, sure. And for those Pittsburghers, I was in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. Now I live in Paradise, so you can do that too. I essentially, if you've ever seen the show Kitchen Nightmares or Restaurant Impossible, Bar Rescue, any of those transformational shows, I work with underperforming business owners that are either failing or just not succeeding to their potential. I go into their business. I essentially tell them their baby's ugly. It's all their fault. Here's what you have to do to fix it. And we make over everything from their sales systems, their HR systems. A lot of the time is spent in rebranding and recreating marketing systems. And then when it's done, I give it back to them and teach them how to make tons of money with it.
Have you seen The Restaurant Inspector?
What's that?
Have you seen a show called The Restaurant Inspector?
No, I've not heard of that one.
Watch it. It's so funny. It's British.
I'll look into it. Thank you.
Enjoy, savor that, and then write me and we'll gossip about it.
Absolutely.
Jason, do you have a template for infrastructure, or do you kind of have software in place you get ready to go? I guess it just depends on the size of the business, right?
I have not found a way to templatize. I just invented a word. It's definitely custom based on the business, the size, the industry, everything.
Do you have a project or program management background or like HR background, or you just have a knack for systems?
I have a design background that realized you can't get anything done just saying, hey, what's your favorite color? So building out from there, I've created the system around monetizing what the ROI on design is.
Awesome.
Nice.
Okay, friends.
Where are you, Jason?
He's in Florida.
Tampa, Florida area.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'd love to hear Veronica, and then Katie, and then Jesse.
So my browser history is pretty boring. It's all work related, except for 5 minutes ago, I Googled the Mandela effect. And I don't get drunk very often, so I don't have a good story, but I did find out that when I turned 30, my metabolism changed. And this is why I don't get drunk very often anymore. If I go to the bar and I have a beer, it hits me like way faster than it used to. And then I get sober, go home, and like drive home sober, get in bed, and 3 hours later, I wake up drunk again. And it's unpleasant. Wow. So everyone's like, what the fuck?
You should be America's Got Talent. That's amazing.
If we could measure it. But yeah, so I live in Beer City, USA. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So we have very high caliber alcohol here. So I'm very careful now. I grew up part-time outside of Pittsburgh in New Brighton, which is a half hour north. Yeah, y'all know Steel City, or Steel Country. So yeah, lots of memories of brick roads and the old factories. And what I do is I coach audacious entrepreneurs to help them build their empire and change the world. I specifically specialize in business scaling. So getting out of your business, maximizing your income without having to be in your business constantly. As an example, my tech company, which I sold in March, I was doing 6 figures and I was only working 10 hours a week, and I was traveling all over Europe, which was really fun. So I teach my clients how to do that now.
You go, girl. That's amazing. That's really amazing. And you said you're in Michigan. Okay.
I'm in Grand Rapids. Yeah, there's like a lot of snow.
You know what? It's because I'm in Toronto, Canada, guys. Honestly, I only know the States because of Miss Congeniality, so please don't judge me. If Miss Congeniality, if like one of those like characters didn't make it to the end, I don't know your state as well, but I do know Miss Texas and any other states that made it to the end. Okay.
I know you know Florida because half of your countrymen are down here right now.
Yes, I was there for funnel hacking, so I know Florida.
Oh.
Okay, amazing. Let's do Katie next.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie of Soul Feast Katie, and I'm a holistic healer and nutritionist with a degree in psychology. And I really love to feel as good as possible and help others feel really good and take good care of yourself and eat really nourishing, delicious food. And I really love what I do. It's very fun and rewarding, and it just feels so aligned in why I'm on this planet.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And the weirdest thing in my browser history, I don't know, I like listening to little children sing because I find they're so cute, and it's got a really beautiful high vibration. So
that's creepy, but I like you still. Okay. But Jason had some creepy shit too. We're all a little bit creepy. It's good.
And as for alcohol, I haven't had a sip in several years because I had some serious health issues years ago, which is kind of what gently forced me onto the path of learning all about health and nutrition. So it's no longer a part of my life, but I did get kicked out of my grad 15 minutes before it started. So
that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Katie. Jessie?
Great to be here.
Hi, friends. I am in Austin, Texas right now. I just rolled into Austin, Texas on Saturday and did like 1,100 miles in 3 days. So that was kind of rough. I guess I will share about the last time I drank was with my friend in South Carolina. We didn't get drunk, but we did. She's a seamstress, so she makes dresses with pockets, and they're real size pockets, people. Real size pockets. I can hook you guys up. But she fixed my dress, basically, is what we did. And then we talked about her marriage problems. So, yes, marriage problems. But apparently I was the perfect person to talk about these marriage problems too, because what I do is I help the LGBT community through spiritual empowerment coaching. And I also do tarot and oracle readings and other forms of divination for them. So I was the perfect person to talk about her marriage problems with, because she finds herself attracted to a trans individual. So it was fun to navigate that with her. I don't know, probably not fun for her, but more fun for me to geek out over her marriage problems.
Interesting. Okay, friends. Thank you so much for sharing, Jessie. I appreciate that. Is anybody who didn't get a chance to go? Noodleman, you want to go?
What up?
This is my friend, Jamie Noodleman.
Can I be heard?
No. First, I have to give you an intro. So every time that I'm like, anytime I'm trying to concentrate and do my work, Jamie sends me something so random. And I appreciate it because it's funny, but like it sets my ADD off like crazy. And I'm like, Jamie, I'm trying to do work right now. And then I send him shit back. Happy Hanukkah, Jamie. You're my brother from another mother. We met on Bumble, but we're still besties. Yeah. Okay, Jamie, go introduce yourself.
No, I'm ADD. I have a solution for that, by the way, and you still haven't listened to me on it. Also, listen to my voice message for your inflammation problems.
Next time I'm concentrating it.
I'm just going to come feed you pills.
That.
Quick backstory, ex-trainer, ex-online health coach, creating a health program in 2019, more like JV collaborating, stuff like that. Get asked about that. But I left the health space, was making money, but wasn't really like interested in coaching people because coaching's tough. But I then shifted to more of my back end kind of mentality because prior to coaching with health, I was more in the digital space. So for me, it's very much about video brand design, but also web in itself. So a lot of my clients are actually online fitness coaches and trainers who really have no clue how to actually put all this stuff together, from landing pages to sales funnels to backends using ClickFunnels and any other software that exists out there, except Kajabi because I don't like using it. The secret is I haven't actually used it yet. So that's a lie. And then what else can I really say about myself? It's really just a split between video and web. And that's been the one thing that's picking up in the last year because I made a big pivot about 6.5 months ago and have recovered really quick with that. And I'm making more money than I was in the health coaching based direction. So yeah, that's where I am right now. And anything else I can add to that, I'm leaving on January 8th for London for 2 weeks, and I'm going to Bali for 3 weeks to hang out with some of the other people I do work with. So Entrepreneur House.
Love it, Jamie. You're in Toronto right now, right?
Of course.
Of course. Okay.
So we can hang out.
I'm going to Barcelona, so you can't distract me. Okay, next. Friends, is there anyone else who... I'm actually going to Barcelona for like a month, and then the next month after that, Danielle and I are figuring out where we want to go. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to message me that. Did everybody get a chance to talk? Okay, awesome. So friends, I'm going to actually do this quick little like 10-second exercise with you guys, just with love, because a lot of the time when you are explaining what it is that you do, it doesn't really land that well, and people don't actually remember what you do. And I call this the Chandler Bing effect. So if you had to say what Chandler Bing does, what would you say? Like, what was his work? Nobody the fuck knows. Exactly. And it's also because you're on mute, but you also don't know. So a lot of the time we think that we're being super clear about introducing ourselves and our pitch and our communication. But some, and I say this with love, and because this is a safe space, I want everyone to feel safe and comfortable, but some pitches are going to stick with people and they're going to remember it. And a lot of the time when we refer to people, it's not just because they're great or whatever. It's because we actually remembered, oh, this person does this person does this, right? So I'm going to quickly say what I do. You guys all know me anyways, but I'm going to really quickly tell you what I do. And then we're going to do something that I call egg yolking, and I'll explain that to you. So what I do is, first of all, I'm Paloma Lev. Holla! Nice to meet you. I know. Honestly, Danielle, I hope your print screen and Kenny threw out, because we will be turning this into GIFs. Okay. That one too. Love that. Okay. Okay, so here's what I do. Smart people question themselves a lot. Stupid people become president, and I bridge the gap. No. So basically what I do is I help people sell high ticket shit with badass confidence. I find that the best experts in the world are severely lacking in confidence and majorly underselling themselves. So you're probably an Einstein at what you do, whether you make the best fucking like zucchini blossom shit, or like you know how to like give men the best ever haircuts, or you know how to like, I don't know, like, make women's boobs perkier, or you know how to, if you give men the best whatever, Daniela, you perv, no big deal. Whatever is your area of expertise, you can turn that into a high ticket package. And I've hung out with, I've lived with people who are really new in their business, and I've worked and lived with people who are all the way millionaires plus. And the thing that blows my mind is how many of those people don't have a high ticket package. And when you don't have a high ticket package, then you got to ask yourself, what is the most amount of money that someone can give you? And sometimes someone wants to give you more. There's a market for premium all the time, but people aren't really taking advantage of that. And they're doing the Russell Brunson method, which is useful, value ladder, and I'm not going to knock that. But a lot of people haven't developed their high ticket offer, and it really is a shame because it doesn't take more energy to take bigger leaps, okay? So that's what I do. I help people really step into their confidence and sell like a badass. And I have a Confidence in Sales University, you guys are the first to know, and a couple of the people I told, that's coming out soon. So friends, so this is what we're gonna do. This is what egg yolking is, okay? You know when you're like baking, not anymore us keto people, but like you can still eat eggs, right? You try to get just the yolk. And so you like move the egg from like shell to shell to shell to get it yolkier and yolkier with less of the whites, right? And so this is a process that's really useful for us to echo back to each other. What did you hear your peers say, right? What do you think they do based on what they communicated, right? And so we're going to go one by one real quick and just shout out, what does that person do? What is the keyword? What is the one or two keyword that person dominates, okay? If you hear coming back at you like 20 different things and none of them are what you wanted to communicate, that means that there is a gap between what you would like to articulate about yourself and what's landing with people, okay? So this will be very clarifying to you guys to see what actually stuck, and do people know what you do, okay? So, and by the way, if it's an area that's difficult to articulate what you do in a confident way, well, part 3, we're going to open the floor for my expertise, and you guys feel free to ask anything you'd like, okay? Aubrey, okay, everyone go off mute. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and Aubrey, you can't help us, okay? You just have to sit in the painful torture of hearing your best not be good enough. Okay, let's go. Okay, guys, what does Aubrey do? 1, 2, 3, shout it out.
Keto expert.
Lose weight without having to change their lifestyle.
Biohacking.
Weight loss.
Keto.
I wasn't here.
Late with keto and unconventional
Don't point out your lateness.
I like being late.
Jamie's the problem child. It's okay. He just needs extra love. Okay. We love you, Jamie. Okay, Aubrey, are you happy with what people said? Did they get it right?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Okay, beautiful, awesome. Guys, what does Veronica
like Britney
do?
Spears, and she's from Alaska.
I know. She looks like Britney Spears' little sister.
Oh my god, she does.
That's one I haven't heard before.
Way hotter.
So cute. Okay, Veronica, what does Veronica do?
Helps people make money.
People scale.
Scaling.
Business.
Travel the world. Make a lot of money.
Work less, make more.
10 hours a week. Sold the
10
business.
hours a week, yeah.
Get 6 figures.
Okay, beautiful. Veronica, is that what you want people to hear?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Beautiful. Okay, guys, what does Michelle do?
Organic leads on Facebook.
Helps entrepreneurs.
Organic leads from Facebook. Someone said that.
I second that.
Oh,
Yeah, Kenny.
sorry.
And guys, if you don't hear, friends, if you don't hear everyone all in say the same word at the same time, if you just hear 1 or 2 people, that means that you need something that either has more images, more metaphors, something stickier, you need a story, you need something that sticks in their mind more, because my goal at the beginning was, can we refer to each other, right? And so if you are suffering from the Chandler Bing effect, people can't refer to you. Okay, awesome. Michelle, is that what you wanted to hear?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, okay. Guys, what does Jason do?
Jason rebuilds businesses and infrastructure through systems and processes.
God, someone took great notes. I just said.
Oh, guys, you can't look at your notes. You can't look at your notes.
No, he does the same. Yeah.
Those words were like
that are suffering because they don't realize what their problem is in the first place.
Okay.
I kind of got like design, build, restructure as well.
Mm-hmm. Streamlining processes.
Your baby is ugly.
Yeah, that's what I remember. But the baby.
You know what, guys?
That meant.
That was honestly one of the best things that you said, Jason, that your baby's ugly. Because you know the funny thing is our brain just has
your fault.
a sticky place for images. So that's wonderful.
Baby's
ugly and then give it back.
Jason, I think at this point you should be doing baby makeovers. Maybe even plastic surgery. Is your baby the ugliest one in the nursery? Well, a quick rhinoplasty from Jason Hewitt Incorporated can make your baby the talk of the town. Do you want a more attractive baby that gets more leads, more clients, and more sales? JasonHewitt.com. We'll talk about that.
Give your baby.
It's an ugly baby facial fixer. Surgery for your babies. Okay, I love it. Guys, what does Kenny do?
Kenny helps people write their book.
Best-selling books.
And he has a story.
Amazon and New York's bestseller.
The Come Up King, is that what you said?
I didn't hear it, but he's the book
And
master.
speaker.
I was going to say, he
coach
also
and
does a
book
speaker
coach.
lab because he is communication expert.
Perfect. Okay, good stuff. Brad, guys, what does Brad do?
Oh, God only knows what I do.
Former wine expert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want to talk to you about wine all day long.
He listens to see if you say the word brilliant, and then comes out of nowhere and says, "Did you just say brilliant?"
So you want to
I don't know how he makes money doing that, but it's
Yeah, Brad. Yeah, guys.
like a character.
I don't know. It looks like he has a nice
really goes
apartment.
with the wine.
You know, Brad, if you can just get the copyright on the word brilliant, like someone has the copyright on happy birthday, that would be amazing.
Well, that's the cool thing. So what I really do, I do want to restructure that. So I'm a business strategist. So basically what Jason is describing, I do a lot of that. But I call it brilliance. So that's my blue ocean.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. Devin, guys, what does Devin do other than have perfect hair?
And wear white like a king.
And has a magic microphone.
Agency.
Yeah, you're working to restructure internal marketing divisions, correct?
Yeah, we do I do like the cliche stuff like managing accounts, creating content, but the real money is made just rebuilding the departments and revolving them around digital.
Okay, great. Guys, what does Katie do?
Holistic nutrition.
Nutrition.
Holistic health coach.
Health space, can't drink alcohol.
Food as medicine.
Can't drink alcohol.
That's my house.
You know what I get from you is calmness. Like when you
Yep.
talk, it was super calm. I like that.
Love it. Okay,
He's the
great.
female Eckhart Tolle.
Jamie. What did you say, Jamie?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, I definitely won't.
You will one day.
Jamie.
Wink.
You're so annoying, and thank you for showing up.
Like, do a meetup. Can we all just go to Canada and just meet?
Guys, come to listen. Actually, I want to announce this right now, friends. I literally said to Daniela, we want to do a Barcelona meetup. So if any of you guys want to hop on a plane or take a long walk,
When is that?
well, I have to first go and like see if like my Airbnb, we're gonna like fuck it up with a lot of people. But like my mom's
Rent it for a month.
No, I know, but we invited my mom, so like.
Just get a second. We'll pitch.
Anyways, we might just like pick out like a plaza or something and like meet up and talk and chill. So
Dad, are you in Barcelona?
In Barcelona, yeah, in January.
You've been there before?
No, actually, my sister Daniela planned it, and I signed the dotted line, and she made everything happen. So that's great.
You might not want to come back.
Really?
No, you will not. You will.
That's so awesome. Well, we have a month there, and then we have another month available to stay there longer. So I'm excited to hear that. Okay, friends, who else did we not do? Victor, what does Victor do?
High ticket closer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Australia.
So
I'm guessing Dan Locke or something like that.
I think he uses that cool accent to sound more intelligent when he closes.
Brilliant, would you say?
Brilliant.
Brad just got paid. Drop your PayPal link, Brad. We did use the word. Okay. That's amazing. Okay, guys, other than take out a knife randomly, what does Jessie do?
LGBT coaching.
Oracle.
Okay,
I had to look at everyone's name. I remember.
I really stuck with
It's just a tarot card reading one.
LGBT community because
Coaching,
I do-
empowerment.
Okay. Okay, good. What does Paloma do, guys?
High ticket sales coaching.
I ticket
confidence.
The elevator pitch, yo.
You just confidence.
Entrepreneur parties.
attitudes and shit.
Kenny, I don't know what you said, but I know it was wonderful. Guys,
Badass attitudes and shit.
oh, I love it. I love it. Guys, I actually, because I have a real webinar coming out, I thought, what's that sound? So annoying. It's very scratchy. Devin, I'm just going to mute you so I can just look at you. Jokes, but no, for real. Okay, guys, I have like this webinar coming out, and I thought it would be kind of a fun like lead into it to make like a fake webinar, like the world's first honest webinar. Because as I was working on it, there were so many things that I actually wanted to say that like, you know, you have to keep it like politically correct, whatever. So this is like a joke webinar, and it's like 10 minutes, and it's like really like whack and like silly. I'm thinking I might put that out first. So keep your eyes peeled like a grape. Okay. Do everybody? Noodle Man? Other than celebrating Hanukkah, what does he do, guys?
Video branding.
Video 50-50 split, video and web.
And websites?
And he got his hair cut apparently.
Oh, did he?
Yep, he said you cut it.
Yeah, actually.
I cut it? You know that?
Yeah,
That's my hair,
because
friend.
you're so good at with your hands.
Okay, I cut Daniela's hair, and then halfway through, she said that I screwed up, and then she took over and finished it, and I was hurt. But I did cut.
You didn't screw up.
Daniela,
I
plug
didn't make
yours
it go
for
bad.
1 sec. Guys, I cut one piece way too short, and I feel really bad about it to this day. I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize that, girlfriend.
I'm sorry.
That's when I made you stop.
I appreciate that.
I should address that. Jesse said that you're good with your hands, and no one addressed that. We just
I heard it, but listen, I do not need any more browser hijackers.
You're welcome.
I just let that one go.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you, guys. Namaste. Okay, so let's move to part 2, guys. So we're gonna do Thunder Round. Okay, think about it, and answer us. What is the number one thing that you want and need for yourself in the next, let's say, 12 months? So if you want to increase clarity in your pitch, if you want to get more clients, if you like whatever it is, the more specific you're asked, the better. And yeah, and so then what I want other people to do is once you say what you want and need, feel free after to say, hey, I have a resource for that, I have a connection for that, whatever it is. And if I have a resource or connection and I let you guys know about that, send me a PM after and remind me, hey, Paloma, send me this or whatever it is. Okay, guys?
I realized you didn't do the egg thing for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, thank you. Guys, what does Daniela do?
Hablas español. Muy sexy.
Sexy Spanish.
Spanish.
There you go. She's an amazing Spanish teacher. She actually, yesterday I was going to have a lesson with her, but we're going to do it probably today instead. Awesome. Okay, friends. So I'm going to go first in terms of want and need, and then you guys feel free to go. We'll just go in order. So I think that the number one thing in the next while is send me like either the best webinar you've watched, because I'm just finishing up my webinar, or if you know the names of your favorite salespeople online, or anybody who has like a really awesome like sales university type thing. I've been looking at Grant Cardone's. It's interesting. Dan Locke's stuff is interesting. I don't usually look side to side because honestly I don't care, and I know that what I'm doing is different. But it's always interesting just to see what other peeps in the industry are doing. Aubrey, yeah, Devin?
I was going to say, I have a recommendation for this. Like,
Sure.
I'll just add to that. If you guys really want some, like, also, like, really good, like, real life sales kind of just experience, just send, like, requests for proposal or requests for infos to, like, a million different agencies or other businesses that are semi-related to, like, what you do, and let them pitch to you, let them send emails, and you'll talk to them for, like, an hour and just go through, ask all the questions that people ask you.
Yeah.
And, like, they're established businesses, you'll get, like, a lot of information from them.
Yeah, Devin, that's an awesome hack. I remember going on a lot of people's, when I was figuring out the discovery call business, I went on a lot of people's discovery calls, honestly, and threw them some of my favorite objections and took notes about how they responded. And that's in my upcoming Sales University is the Objections Bible, which is like hundreds of my favorite responses to the most common objections from let me ask my spouse, aka kiss of death, to let me think about it, kiss of death, blah, blah. Okay.
It's golden.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. Okay, Aubrey, what's the number one thing you want to need in the next while?
What I need is a better content creation strategy. So I have a lot of ideas for creating content, and I need to understand how to do it in an efficient way because I still work a 40-hour-a-week job. So, got to be efficient. What I want also is to scale my influence by 10,000 people in the next 6 months.
Okay, awesome. And do you care about what platform that's on, or?
It would be mostly Facebook, though I am dabbling in Instagram a bit, and I'm going to start a YouTube channel. So
that's awesome.
Veronica's getting excited.
Yeah, guys, just jump in.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel.
Nice. Are you working on it?
Started mine again. Yeah.
Yeah, I got really busy when my book launched in September, so I haven't updated a whole lot. But yeah, I do. It's happening. Yes.
Yeah.
Content strategies on Facebook is my specialty, so I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Chat.
For sure.
That's awesome.
Katie,
Yeah, you can go live on your phone on Facebook, on your iPad, on Instagram, and then upload it to YouTube. So that way you just make one video, but it goes on 3.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Can you say that again? How do you do that?
Yeah, so you go live on your phone on Facebook and then live on your iPad on Instagram or computer, whichever device, then upload that to YouTube. So then you have it on 3 different things. So you make one video.
That's awesome.
That is
awesome. Really Veronica, what have you found has been the number one thing that's helped you with reach when it comes to YouTube?
So what I love about YouTube that a lot of people don't realize is that YouTube is owned by Google. So it has a way bigger SEO reach than the other platforms do. And so what I would suggest is making sure that your description for your videos is super robust because Google is reading that. It can't read a video, but it's reading your description. That's going to make a huge difference. And your tags, your tags need to be spot on too. So I would just stalk other channels that are in your industry and see what tags and what keywords they're using. You can also, just like Google, because it's owned by Google, their search bar will autofill for you. So start typing a word or one of the keywords that you would use for your YouTube or any of the work that you're doing in your industry, and it will autofill with phrases that you could either then use for a topic for one of your videos or just insert as one of your tags.
That's awesome.
And that's where is that autofill? Just in Google?
Just in YouTube, when you start typing
just in YouTube,
like, how
okay.
to, and then it's.
Sorry, you said Phil. I was like, I'm not Phil, I swear. Yeah. It's the YouTube search. I got it. Phil, F-I-L-L. It's fine. It's after our on Friday.
TubeBuddy is another good one that you could use also. It's just like $9 a month, and it gives you like a bunch of, like in the tag section and the description all over. Every time you type in a word, it'll give you a bunch of keywords or other things related to it that are like trending at that time or popular and related to whatever it thinks your video is about. And I use that, and it helps. Like,
sorry, Devin, what was it called?
It's called TubeBuddy.
TubeBuddy. Okay.
Yeah, it works really well if you're not too well versed.
Really dirty. You can do vidIQ as well. Like that and too are pretty cool. One of my clients is like a YouTuber guy for like growth, so like he knows all the behind stuff. It's good shit.
That's awesome. And also, I met this dude, Daryl Eves. I don't know if you guys have seen his YouTube stuff, but I met him at Funnel Hacking, and he has a lot of really good content related to YouTube growth stuff. So that's great that you shared that, Aubrey. And guys, if you think of any resources to share with someone after, feel free to. I think the number one thing that I would love to share with you guys today, and feel free to message me after if you'd like this, I'm going to send it to you for free. I think everybody's pitch with love could benefit from, I have a document called The Anatomy of Interesting, and it explains what sticks in our brains, right? So when we use, for example, abstract nouns versus concrete nouns, an abstract noun might be something like the word brilliance, Brad, or processes or systems or something like that. That's something that we want to avoid. And the reason that we want to avoid it is because our brains don't have a sticky place to keep track of that. Instead, just like, people clung on to when Jason said the ugly baby, people cling to an image, something that you can feel, sense, taste, something tangible. So anybody who wants The Anatomy of Interesting, the PDF after, send me a message. I'll send that to you. I'm going to add a video version to my course, but I'll send you the audio, the PDF version today if you remind me. Okay, awesome. Okay, so we did Aubrey, we did Veronica. Michelle, what's the number one thing that you want and need in the next while?
Well, you didn't do me.
Well, I'm just launching a brand new program. Basically, it's a 3-pillar program on content strategies and helping you save time in your business, grow you as an authority. So I need new leads and beta testers for the new program to test it out.
Okay. Cool. Okay, great. Well, I think Aubrey would be a great match for that.
Here.
Awesome. Beautiful. Sorry, Veronica, did we skip you?
Yeah.
Okay, go, darling, go.
Nobody put Veronica in the corner.
Don't forget me. I currently want more people in my Facebook group, the Audacious Entrepreneur Sandbox. I just rebranded it this week, and just want to invite everyone into my tribe. Welcome, enjoy, have fun. We're here for community support. I believe that if you don't have a community surrounding you, your ship is just not going to rise. And then I need what I would love, because I have some audacious plans for 2019, as everyone should. If you can tell, audacious is one of my words. I would love more leads. So if you come across anybody who is upper limiting and hitting a ceiling in their business and they need to get out of their own damn way, send them my way. I love working with people like that.
Okay, awesome. And Veronica, what's the number one reason with the crazy proliferation of a zillion Facebook groups? What's the number one reason that someone should join your group as opposed to
because I'm in it. I have internal programming that I do. So like in January, we're doing foundations of empire building, things like that. So if you have really, really big dreams for your business, if you're not just trying to have a business, but you see it as this large vertical that is lifelong and multifaceted, this is where you want to be.
Okay, Veronica, because I love you, I'm going to give you one more chance to answer that better, because I'm not convinced and I'm not joining yet. So here's what I would lovingly recommend, okay? Have something that nobody else has, because, and I say this with love, because like 6 months, 12 months ago, everybody was joining Facebook groups. Arnie did a really good job of selling us all the dream, and then it got a little bit too populated, and now all my friends who are influencers are deleting all their Facebook groups. So if you could even do something like, for me, honestly, entrepreneur parties is something that I offer my people that nobody else is doing, right? I also did a crazy initiative a while ago called Entrepreneurial Blind Date. So I put people on blind dates literally like as friends with other entrepreneurs. I was like, give me your Skype, and I'm going to put you guys together. So any kind of initiative that is like proprietary to you, that belongs to you, can make a really big difference. So even if we could see like the behind the scenes of like, maybe you have like a confessional thing once a week where people make like a confession about their business. Or maybe you have like, when you think of scaling, like, you know, like there needs to be some kind of draw that's different than other Facebook groups. Because at this point, anybody like that I find in my like message requesting that says, I'm so sorry to bother you or sorry to bug you, but have this new Facebook group. I'm like, I'm trying to leave Facebook groups. So I just think about something that, and all you need is a little bit of creativity and think, oh, that's a little interesting.
Does that mean I have to get everybody like a 1 carat diamond or something? Is that?
Yeah.
You know what? Yes.
That'd be brilliant. Wouldn't that be brilliant?
That would be brilliant. Ching, ching, ching.
No, honestly, for me, my Facebook group is where entrepreneurs can come, where the people who have really big ideas and big dreams tend to feel very vulnerable about their dreams because they have such a huge vision. And this is, you can come and be extremely vulnerable about what you're experiencing and share it with the group, receive support without judgment, and then of course make amazing connections as well and enjoy the programming. But
yeah,
that's the key point. I mean, there's going to be content, there's going to be like a whole
I know it's going to be
but now it's the vulnerability piece that makes it special.
I agree with Paloma though that you could be doing this kind of a party for those people, and they could be sharing that intimacy and feeling as connected as we all do simply because we're seeing each other in real time, hearing each other's voices.
Yeah.
Guys, I have this, there's this doc, Veronica, I'll send you this video if you remind me. It's called Paloma's Plinko Method. And basically, did you guys watch The Price is Right, the Plinko game? Okay, so Katie, you're not sure what it is. It's basically like, I don't know, you have this like board where you drop some kind of ball or puck at the top, and at the bottom it falls into one of the buckets, right? Well, the awesome thing about an entrepreneur party is, for like, this is my proprietary event, and I don't suggest that you do this, it's just you make something that's proprietary to you, right? So maybe you have like, you said about like it's about building your dreams. Wouldn't it be interesting if on Mondays, like My Dream Monday, people go do a Facebook Live in your group and tell you what their dreams are, and on Friday it's like Fuck Yeah Friday, and people go live and say, hey, Veronica said she needed this, I have this for you. Michelle said she needed this, I have this for you, right? And do that every Monday and Friday, or something that belongs to you, so that you have something different, something that brings them there. Because honestly, guys, there are so many people who like you'll tell your ideas to, and then because they don't want to hurt your feelings, they'll just say like, oh, awesome. Like, I love you guys, and I know how fucking, like, if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably crying at least once a day, okay? Like, it's emotional and intense. And so if I ever see that there's an area that can make your life easier so you don't step into a trap, because so many of us started Facebook groups, and they were like, shit, this is like a baby we have to nurture. But Veronica, I'll send you Paloma's Plinko Method because it's going to show you about how to make some kind of proprietary event for yourself. Daniela with Spanish, she and I were working on her high-ticket package, and we thought if we would do like Spanish with Danny fiestas, where like he would like make a margarita and like, you know, a taco and hang out and talk Spanish, right? So it doesn't matter what your thing is, but think of it like a theme party. And this is your theme party, and it's going to have some kind of flavor to it. And there are so many things that just indulge your creativity, and anything that you think, oh, wouldn't that be kind of crazy if we did X? That's the best thing to do. Yeah.
I'm going to be the un-Oprah. Your baby is ugly, and your baby is ugly.
Jason, you need to patent that shit. I think
it's your fault. And it's your fault.
Jason, why don't you have a show, like a regular show called Your Baby is Ugly, where you say like, and then you show like a picture of them as a baby, and then you talk about their business or something like that. I think that would be really fun. I'll show you some ugly baby pictures.
That would be a great podcast.
Yeah.
Your Baby is Ugly podcast.
Could be. Podcasts are a love-hate thing.
But if you're that handsome, why would you just want a podcast, guys? Okay. Veronica, thank you for sharing, and thank you for, I usually ask first, is it okay if I give my honest feedback? I should have asked that first. Because
you crushed my dreams.
No, Veronica, I only say because you're amazing and you can handle it. Okay, so Aubrey, Veronica, Michelle, Jason, what do you want to need in the next while?
So 2 years ago when we moved here, I uprooted a a mature business, and I thought, well, I've got clients everywhere, won't be a problem, but it was. So at this point, 2 years in, I'm finally starting to grow some roots and getting some trust established again. But my business, when I conduct business, it's primarily, it has been in person. This kind of interaction is critical for me to interpret and deduce. I'm highly intuitive, I'm empathic, and I get the sense of what to communicate about somebody and their business authentically, but it has to be based on a deep trust and connection.
Yeah.
I have not found a way to span, and maybe I know it's a self-limit. I cannot figure out how to get outside of a small local region. So no one knows that I exist. No one knows that this service like this exists. I do graphic design. I do website design. I do the photography for my project. All the creative stuff. Yes, I do that. But that's not all that it is. And if you go to a consultant that does parts or pieces of this, they're all great, but it ends up being a chain of referrals from 1 to 2 to 3 or 4 people. Well, that can all be done at one place, but getting the word out and reaching the audience that needs this and that will be vulnerable, that's where I'm stumped.
Yeah. Jason, there's this really, I don't know if I've sent it to you before, but there's this really amazing 3-hour gem. Do you guys know Jay Abraham? He's really a fascinating fellow ADD billionaire entrepreneur with some really amazing theories on business, and it's just awesome. Jason, if you look up, I think it's called 90 Referral Systems. I can find it for you if you remind me. But what he does is for 3 hours, Kenny, wake up. For 3 hours, it's okay, sweetheart. I'm just joking.
Notes, like trying.
I'm just joking. For 3 hours, Jay Abraham has his best clients and students show up, and it's an audio, it's not a video, but they share their referral hacks. And I, like, honestly, for me to sit through 3 hours of content, it has to be really fucking good. And I was blown away, and like I felt like I was flying after I listened to it, because he just talks about how like 70% of business is referral based, and referral business is way better than ones that you have to go solicit, right? So if someone says you have to check out Kenny, he's brilliant, I will. But if I just stumble upon him, I don't have the context to understand. I know he does what he does, perhaps, if he does a good job of explaining it. But does that mean that I trust it, know it, like it? No. A referral is way better. So even if it's a little bit slow, I would look at that doc and just kind of emulate it. And I would also say,
if I could,
how come not Facebook ads and things like that, advertising?
Jason, have you done paid ads before?
A little bit. I'm timid about it because I know it's a black hole that I could pour a lot of money and time into.
Right.
So I have not gotten a good result from it.
Because you work more in the B2B space, and I'm assuming you're focused on nothing but hospitality, food and beverage, brick and mortar.
No, that's not true.
Is it just anybody? Because if it's just anybody, what you could do is you can go on Indeed, look for a particular niche and industry, and just see what companies are hiring for a project manager, a program manager, some type of director, and you know that those people need systems and processes for their business, and you could literally just call those companies up, and there's a directory, and you just type in marketing department, sales department, whatever, because that's exactly what I do. And like, you can get a hold of 10, 15 people in a day. Like, you'd be very, very surprised just sourcing on LinkedIn like that for what you do.
You know, the interesting thing is, one thing that I always try to determine the difference between is there's state and then there's tactics, right? And then the tactics are like the how-to, how do you do shit, right? And the truth is there's tactics up the wazoo. I find the reason that I'm in the confidence space is because 99% of the time people have enough tactics, they just don't feel the confidence to really stand behind that and embody it. For example, an entrepreneur party, right? The first one was very nerve-wracking. I'm like, you don't want to be that kid who buys like 100 cupcakes from Walmart and no one shows up, right? And so, but the first time I did it, I was like, people did show up and it was awesome, right? And then from doing that, I'm like, you know what? I'm happy to talk to a wonderful random dude in Australia, a random person from Pittsburgh, whoever, because I got a lot more comfortable doing it. And so just like anything that's like scary or uncomfortable, the first time you just got to feel the fear and do it anyways. But and this is the thing that kind of blows my mind, and Jason, not just speaking to particularly like everyone, and myself included, and just like everyone in the entrepreneurship space. Most of the time, people who are saying, try this tactic, try this tactic, they need to first see, like, how do you feel about doing this stuff, right? Because the truth is, like, it's so interesting. Jason is, like, just from what we've experienced of each other online, you are brilliant, and you are generous as hell. Like, even, guys, if you're not in the brilliant, Brad, you just got paid. If you guys are in my Facebook group, what you'll see is that I asked the question the other day, right? I asked the question about what was your, I don't even know, maybe Jason, you just posted to tell us about a success, right?
Yeah.
And then I asked a little bit of, please elaborate, tell us more, right? And you wrote a fucking amazing long-ass paragraph that I asked Daniela to read. So you shared so much value just in a comment, which shows me there is not a thing of a lack of tactics. Like, I know you to be someone who is extremely strategic. And so it would be like, there's a million tactics, but that would be misguided to start there. The truth is, I found every single business problem, there's some stuff, and all of us fucking have stuff. I have stuff, I'm working on it, all of us do, that makes it painful to do the tactics. And so, like, I find the majority of everything, every expert that I work with, it all comes down to confidence. And what does confidence go back to? Some, like, early ass traumas in our lives, and all of us have them. Anything that your first experience of not being good enough. I mean, I had a client of mine who told me that, he had this experience where one of his parents told him he got like a 90% on a test, and he showed it to his dad, and he was like, he was excited, but his dad was like, why the hell was it just 90? Like, you can do better than that, right? And he said that was the beginning that he started to feel this, like, perfectionistic, tendency, right? So the truth is, I think it would be ill-advised for me to say anything tactic-wise, because I know, Jason, you have that. And if you want to talk tactics, we can talk tactics. But I would just, with love for everyone, ask yourself, when am I doing the busy work? When am I doing the vulnerable work? And what vulnerable work needs to be done more of? Like, I've taken so many detours on my entrepreneurial path where I'm like, I needed to do some worked with an inner child healer. I've like, a therapist is often way better than a business coach. All of these things, because everyone has some pains that show up in our business. And so for me, like, I'll just share one of mine so it doesn't feel like preaching. Like, I just want it to be like open-hearted space so you guys know I'm not talking at you, I'm with you. For me, I mean, it's no surprise to anyone, but me figuring out that I had ADD, I think it was like 2 years ago, I found it really embarrassing when I first learned that. Like, I talk a lot, I'm really intense, like, I have a lot of ideas all the time, so no one was surprised. But for me, it was like a kind of painful thing to learn that I thought the reason it was hard for me to organize shit was because I lived in a crazy family of like 6 loud people. Then I moved to a sublet by myself and was like, I'm going to bang out this online course and be done in a month. And I didn't, it's so funny. It looked like solitary confinement. It was like all the white walls and no decoration, whatever, no distractions. And still I found it hard to focus. And so I had to go on a detour where I was like, okay, even though you really wanted to make your online course now, you have to dig deep into like, what's the shit? And then I ended up going to this like therapist lady and I'm like, I think I have ADD. And then we like went on that path. Like, I've had so many detours that I wanted to do the business tactical thing. And then life was saying, no, Paloma, like, I just got this like blood test thing like 6-7 months ago that were like, I was in the pre-diabetic zone because I was working so hard on my business shit that I was neglecting exercising, and I wasn't eating till like 5 p.m. because I was so stressed out about stuff. And that was all self-inflicted because of other pain and shit in my life that I was going through and traumas that were literally resurfacing from early years. And so I don't say this to make this conversation heavy, but I say this genuinely like with deep love for everybody, because every business challenge, the truth is there's something that is asking for our attention and our love within ourselves. And as soon as that shit's cleared up, all the how becomes easy, I've found. What do you think, Dave? Does this sound like bullshit or not bullshit?
No, it's exactly what I focus on with clients. First of all, before you leave, Aubrey, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, Aubrey, happy birthday. I forgot.
It's okay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But I got to head out. It was so great meeting you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me, Paloma.
Thanks for hanging out. We love you. Bye, darling. Happy birthday.
Yeah, so if that was meant meant for me, yeah, everything that I do is rooted in becoming adaptive towards past traumas.
Yeah.
And I use the skill that I've developed as a coping mechanism, and I focus that on my clients and interpret what they need.
Yeah.
But yeah, that tough work continues. Absolutely.
Yeah, and definitely, guys, I mean, I found it's not a one-time thing, as you guys all know. Like, it's a continual working through. I mean, we spent the first 20 years of our lives in an environment that we didn't create, right? Just not able to control what was happening around us, and then we spend the rest of our lives unlearning that. So I'm in the process 2 times a million, so I feel you guys, and I love you all. And Jason, if you want to talk about some ideas in terms of what your proprietary like engagement method might be, we could totally do that, because you've just put out such wonderful, like in my group alone, just such wonderful stuff. And I wonder, can people see that in a bigger way? Like, even if you just take that paragraph that you wrote about why your big high ticket deal closed, right? It was so valuable that I asked my sister to read it. And so if you can celebrate the successes that you've had, the best marketing is saying, look at this thing that I succeeded at. Do you want this too?
I'm glad to hear you say that, because the last thing I wanted to do was come in and hijack or be seen as a hijacker.
No. Why do you feel like
that? I don't know exactly. The modest part of me, the one that doesn't want the acclaim, comes from, I think, I do want that, but I don't want it at someone else's expense. I was in the Presidential Honor Guard at 18 years old. I was on the White House lawn or at the Pentagon or doing that kind of stuff. And the job was, you represent the best of the best, but you're just a pawn. You're one of many, and you have to be uniform. So I don't want to stand out. It's not about me. It's about we.
You know, it's interesting, because one of the biggest things that block people from saying all of their successes is, you know, they've had some experiences when they've shared and then someone's cut them down. You know, like I have a client, she's amazing. And I'm like, why don't more people know about what you do? And she said every time she like is really excited and she tells her friends what she's doing, you know the expression, what is it? Like cut the poppy down to the lowest one, or like cut the grass to the lowest blade. I think that's a kind of, I have an Australian friend, Victor, who said that that's kind of a thing in Australia where like, they're like, you can't get too big for your britches kind of thing. And there are so many dynamics, sometimes even with our parents, like here's something interesting, and we're recording, but whatever. My mom's in business too. My mom's a marketer too. And so sometimes I had a fear early on of like, what if I do really well? What if I do better than my mom in business? Like sometimes we have some like subconscious stuff that actually we know how to do the doing. We're just scared of we're more scared of the success than we are of the lack of success.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and actually I did a video on this in my course. There's actually a word, cherophobia, which means fear of happiness. And there's a lot of different roots of that a lot of the time we're more comfortable and we feel more safe in kind of not exactly like underperforming, but making ourselves small. There are benefits to making ourselves small. I'll tell you guys here right now, just because I feel safe with you guys. When I had my first 21K month, I didn't tell anyone. When I sold my first online course passively, like I checked my Stripe account and then I saw a couple $100 there and I'm like, oh wow, I sold it passively. I went and I told my dad, and he was like, yeah, well, I'll do his Romanian accent. Yes, but Paloma, so you sold this course, but the thing is, how do you know that in India they won't steal your course and share it with everybody illegally? And I'm like, I'm just used to that with my dad, that it doesn't land, right? When I got into some fancy pants master's program that 7 people in Canada get into a year, it is a big accomplishment. I went to my dad, I'm like, Dad, I got into this amazing master's program. He's like, yes, but what will you do with it? Right? And when I graduated, like 2 years later, I was like, Dad, I graduated from this really hard master's program. He's like, yes, but what will you do with it? Right? So like, I was like, okay, he's not going to be my cheerleader. And then, you know, in some ways, like my mom's in business, is like, you don't have a parent to feel threatened or whatever it is. My sister's in business. Like, there's a lot of the time, okay, here's a good exercise for everybody to do. Imagine that you got the thing that you wanted, right? So Devin, let's say you said, I want the top rated podcast in the world. Or Kenny, you're like, I want to have like 100 bestseller novels before I die, whatever it is, right? Imagine yourself, take a quiet moment when you're by yourself and imagine yourself actually receiving that thing. Like close your eyes and visualize it. You're not going to feel pure joy. You're going to have a complex cocktail of emotions where part of you feels dread, part of you feels shame, part of you feels guilt, part of you feels anxiety. And that will show you exactly what the blocks are. Because when I think about, let's say, making $1 million, what comes to mind first? Maybe I'm not organized enough to process all those clients. Or maybe my technology will break down and I won't know how to fix it. Or what's my dad going to say? Or what's my mom going to say? Or all that shit that comes up, right? So just, you don't have to, friends, you don't have to share this activity with us because do it yourself. It's a vulnerable thing to do. But ask yourself, if I got the thing that I wanted, what would the emotional consequences of getting the thing I want be? And that can really prove clarifying. Thank you for sharing, Jason. I really appreciate it. And I know we went a little long on that one, but it's so relevant to everyone. We'll do thunder round and then we'll close off. Kenny, what's the number one thing you want to need in the next while?
Oh, that was deep. So I feel like thinking about parents and backgrounds. See, I'm a first generation everything. Everything, like first generation college student, and obviously going to get a master's. I'm in a doctoral program right now, which I'm paying for out of pocket. So everything that I've ever done about entrepreneurship, money, like I had to learn by making a lot of mistakes. And to give you some context about what I need and what I want in my next 12 months, I did not even know, and this is an interesting fact, funny story that I share now, but it wasn't funny then. I did not know that when you wrote a check, you had to have money in an account until I was a junior in college.
Yeah.
Do you understand like the type of financial conversations that had to happen for me to even know that money had to be in a checking account by the time I became a junior in college? And I only found that out because my first job was in a retail store where people were writing checks. I'm aging myself a little bit. I'll be 40 in a year. So people,
old.
Yeah. So, you know, and I remember people writing checks, giving it to a cashier and getting merchandise. And that was my introduction to how checking accounts worked. So fast forward to sort of, I put myself in a lot of debt, obviously, getting myself through college because someone told me that, you know, you come from poverty and you have to take out loans to pay for college. And in order for you to get a job to be able to support yourself, you have to have this degree. Like, it was all of this stuff that I had to find out on my own. And so now I'm in a space where I wrote my book, just wrote it, and just was like, excuse my French, but fuck it, I'm gonna tell my story and it's gonna help somebody.
Good for you.
And then I'm gonna figure that out on my own. And so I invested way too much money into writing my book, because into coaches and classes and this and all this other shit, that I was like, I could have did this on my own. And so all of my mistakes have led up to me now. And what my business is I'm okay with sort of the interpersonal connection with what I call comeback kids. And a lot of people may not agree with me, but I try to stay away from the word client, because I believe that right now where I am, I want to continue to have a relationship with the people who come through my stuff, because my stuff is so personal. My business came from my pain. And so there's this sort of moment for me where I have to say, like, you're a comeback kid with me, and I'm going to continue to invest back into you. So right now, I'm 9 cohorts in, and I'm so thankful that I've helped dozens of people who were just like me, who were like, I have no fucking idea. I don't know anything about high ticket sale price term, all this other shit. I just want to tell my story. And no shade to any other spaces of that, but I'm not there yet. I'm going to get there, I know. But for me, right now, I'm okay with where I am because I'm going to be a doctor in a year, so I have to focus there. I also love my career. I am director of admissions for a large university. People in Pennsylvania may know it, but Westchester University of Pennsylvania, large university, and Pennsylvania students want to come to Westchester. So I get to make dreams come true there. There's that. And then my stuff, like, you know, helping my comeback kids realize their dreams. And I love what I'm doing. And now I'm getting to use what I have made mistakes in to help other people sort of make their first steps. So what I want now is to now sort of branch this out and connect with folks who are okay with this type of storytelling and this type of work. And what that means for me is that I would love to be able to meet people who have thought about writing a book and was like, I don't even know where to start. And or people who have a book already written but are afraid to release it because of what somebody else may say. And trust me, you can have the best book out here. Somebody gonna have something to say. So that's going. So I really want to connect with people who are struggling there. And then what I need is a bigger network, right? And so I need to be able to be connected to all the people sort of here and for us to have a real authentic connection, because nothing burns me more than just being friends with people on Facebook for the sake of being other friends. Like, no, I'm going to talk to you. I always tell Paloma, even when I celebrate my small wins, I'd be like, Paloma, I listen, look, boom. Because it's like, that to me is connection. And if you're not that type of person, then we can't be in the space. So I need that type of space so that in 2019 in this speaker development series, that the people who work with me are getting real results. And then I'm also being able to help other people monetize. And it's not just about investing in my business, because when you invest in my business and you ambassadorize for us, you get a percentage of people who sign up. So now you're getting money back into the investment you made. So it's not just about giving me money. And so that's my wants and needs.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Kenny. Have you shared that check story on a Facebook Live or in any kind of public forum? Okay. A fun, independent fun #1, aka homework. We don't have homework. We just have fun, independent fun. Kenny, I'm going to try my very best, if my computer lets me, to chop that piece of our chat and share that, okay? Because that's powerful. It's really fucking powerful. Because when you share that,
Kenny, I just want to know if you could tell that whole story one more time. Can you?
Yeah, Kenny, we were all like clapping for you. Like,
it's totally a keynote. You're a speaker coach, and like that's a perfect keynote. That's a graduation keynote. That's a keynote to do at entrepreneurial conferences. Like, that's your keynote.
Kenny, we want your TEDx. We want your speech. Do you know Amanda Rivera, right?
Yes.
And Lena Elkins, whatever.
I just know Amanda. I don't know Lena.
Okay, well, between the two of them, let's get you a TED Talk, okay? Because
oh my God, yes.
No, that one, and then 2. Do you have any kind of proprietary method or system to how you teach people to tell their story?
When you say proprietary, meaning like,
do you have? Okay, maybe. Kenny, just remind me to send this to you. I'm going to send you a video from my course, okay?
Okay.
It's about how to decommodify yourself. So there are lots of industries that are very crowded, right? So for example, branding or marketing. If you look for a branding and marketing person online, like they're like 1 inch from you. There's like a zillion, okay? But just like I lovingly suggested to Veronica about differentiating her offer, there are a lot of people who help people with their books, but there are not a lot of Kenny Joneses, right? And so in this particular video in my course, I talk about the way that you decommodify yourself, okay? And so remind me and I will upload that to Google Drive and I'll send that to you, okay? if you take someone like the dude who was Wolf of Wall Street, Belfort, whatever his name is, right? Jordan Belfort, right? He developed this system of sales that he calls the straight line system, okay? Not so fancy, not so, whatever. It's just like a simple name for his process or for his system, right? Tim Ferriss, what's his proprietary system or method? The 4-hour blank. Once he did 4-hour work week, he could do 4-hour body, 4-hour chef. He could probably do 4-hour blowjob at this point, and his people would buy it, okay? So the thing is, you need something. It's great. You want to get to the point that your people love you so evangelically that they'll buy before they even know what they're buying, right? And so if you have some kind of, what do you need to create a proprietary system? One, you need to find the patterns, all the people that you've worked with, find the patterns in what you've had to do, right? So step one is help them release their defenses to the vulnerability of sharing, one. And you have a certain method for doing that. 2, you have a way that they can brainstorm their story. 3, you have a way that you take them on field trips to other authors, whatever's, and then it shows them the possibilities in life. 4, you introduce them to role models and heroes, whatever. You have your own way that you teach, right? No. Well, instead of just saying, well, you have to be there, I can't tell you how it works, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
For me, since the age of 19, I've been teaching people how to increase their confidence and their conviction, right? So in my Sales and Confidence University, I've developed something called the conviction method, right? The basic premise is that in order to sell successfully, you need to increase, bye Veronica, you need to be able to increase your confidence in 7 to 8 different areas. Conviction in yourself, conviction in your vision, conviction in your results, conviction in your offer, etc., right? And so what I did is I charted those out. I call it the conviction method, right? And it takes people from point A to point B, right? Now, once I've created that, now I'm in talks with influencers. I've already done this. I've already done this a couple of times where there's an influencer who teaches something that's complementary to what I teach, right? So what's something that's complementary to teaching sales calls and confidence? Something like, okay, no worries, Jason. Guys, if you have to head out, no worries at all. Sending you all love, and anyone who wants to stay on, feel free. We're going to have open forum.
Jason, you guys, it's amazing.
Love you, darling. We'll talk soon. Have a good one. Okay, so Kenny, we were saying, what was the last thing I said, guys?
Team up with other influencers to offer something confident.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so now that I have my proprietary system, right, organized in, let's say, Thinkific or ClickFunnels or whatever it is, and the format doesn't matter. But when I say proprietary, it means it belongs to you, right? So, for example, if I call these Paloma Lev's entrepreneur parties, then if Katie goes and does them, then she's a poser who stole my thing, right? If Katie does Katie's wooooo leaf hours where I do tarot reading, or like she has some cool name for it, right? And then I copy her, then I'm a cheap copy of her, right? Mm-hmm. And so the thing is, when you're not decommodified, and the best example for what a commodity is like you're a tube of toothpaste, right? People price compare you all the time. They say, oh, well, this one is $1 and you're $1.10, so I'm going to buy the $1 one. Well, people only price compare when there's not a clear differentiator, when there's not a clear decommodifier, right? Having a proprietary system or method decommodifies you, which means that there's so many more moves that you can make. And you can sell or license your system to other people. So nobody else can say the straight line system of selling, that belongs to Jordan. Brilliant, apparently, belongs to Brad, right?
The program is Brilliance to Billions.
Yes. Oh, that's a good name. So Kenny, think about if you have like the Comeback Kids system, and then you can go to leaders in communities that are underprivileged. For example, if that's your niche, and you say, hey guys, I have this system that I've had 9 successful cohorts of students publish their book using my system, the Comeback Kids system.
Yes.
And you chart it out, you make an infographic, you kind of wireframe it, you write it out, you draw it, you put it on your wall, do the rough version of it. And at that point, you are the owner of a system rather than just the provider of a service.
Got it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you just described right there is exactly what Brilliance is. So it's just below Genius Zone. Honestly, there's an 8-tier system just below Genius Zone. That's exactly what you need. And I I totally 100% love what you just said.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. So
Kenny's one was brilliant.
Thank you, guys.
Definitely writing them in my notes. It's interesting that you said that, Paloma, and I'm gonna let somebody else take the floor. But that was the whole reason why I said from my inaugural cohort, I'm not going to call y'all clients because I'm going to really invest in you. And the book is actually a bonus. What people don't, what I'm doing a better job in marketing the cohorts is that everybody who has gone through the cohorts and have gotten a book out of it has also sort of healed from very, 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 very hard things through the publishing of their book. So it's not just writing a book. That's a bonus, and it becoming a bestseller is another bonus, but it's more about you coming back from whatever that is that you...
Yes. So the book is a symptom of the change, and that's great. That's great. So all I'm recommending to you is turn that into a repeatable pattern or system that belongs to you. And that way you can go to companies, you can go to, like, for example, did you ever talk to, last party I connected you with my friend Chris. Did you guys ever talk to each other?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And how'd that go?
So Chris, he like his system is like a little bit different, but I really appreciated his like vantage point. What we did when we talked about like why I decided to even start this whole book thing, particularly because like nobody is quote unquote reading books, and I said no, the book to me is step one. It's being able to go and speak and share your story, and then have people say, okay, now you're going to walk away with a copy of my book because whoever hired me then purchased 500 copies of my book. Yeah.
So Kenny, so he's an example, guys. My friend Chris works with a lot of different people in the community, but he particularly works with marginalized communities. And so the reason I connected to him is because you guys have similar people that you help, right? What you could do is go to a leader, an influencer who has influence over those people that you would like to influence, and say, hey, I have a proven, tested, proprietary system that has produced 9 cohorts of people who have nobody ever believed in them, just like me, but now look at us, and we are the Comeback Kids. I've created the signature Comeback Kids system. It follows 8 pillars. It goes through this. You can share those pillars, but you're sharing the what, but you're not sharing the how. And the how, if they want to know more about the how, they come to you. So I would chart that out and get you can make some simple graphics around it later, but that's an asset. That's an asset that you can sell in the same way as I partner with other influencers and say, hey, if you're helping people generate leads, well, they probably need to know how to confidently close that sale, right? Well, I have my Sales and Confidence University that's based on the conviction method, right? And nobody else can say that they have that, okay? Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Kenny. Okay, let's get a couple people.
Just real quick, Paloma. Kenny, if you want some help with that, I'm happy to help you. That's like, that shit is like super easy to me. I'm a pattern guy, so.
Okay, Brad.
Like just for free or whatever. You want to connect for a couple hours, I can step you through that whole entire process.
Oh my gosh, this is great. Thank you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, Daniela, what do you want to need in the next while?
So the 3 things that I'm focusing on right now, one are state related. I so believe and love what I do. And then I definitely struggle sometimes with the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And so I'm definitely trying to focus on state and mindset stuff. So send that stuff my way. I also am looking to, I recently had a romantic breakup and then some friend breakups, and I'm looking to replenish my friend circle with people who are more where I'm at right now. So great connections in terms of other people. And then also I teach sexy Spanish for deep travel and deep connection. And so I search for people who are very much interested in experiential learning, who want to connect deeply with other people and cultures, and who want to connect more deeply with themselves. And if you know anybody who fits that, send them my way.
That's awesome. Kenny, do you ever have people who are looking to write their book and Spanish is their first language?
You know what's interesting? The answer is yes and no. There has been 2 comeback kids that are from different countries. One is Marianne, who is from, I'm not sure if I'm saying her country correctly, but Curacao? I'm not sure.
I don't know how to say it either.
I don't know how to say it, but her first her first language was Portuguese. And then Ramon, who is from Mexico, whose first language is Spanish, but he spoke English because he was in university. He was in the University of America. So.
Kenny, first of all, I just want to say great job on featuring your comeback kids on your Facebook. That's really awesome, and it really does create a strong impact. It would be so incredible if there was some way to capture a little bit of their spirit on video as well. And so if you could partner with someone who, or even if you have if you can record some of the conversations that you guys have, if you, I would love to hear Ramon from Mexico. I would love to hear his story. And the thing is, you're helping them write their stories, but we would love to see these people in the process of this is the challenge of getting someone who was never told that they were deserving and worthy of speaking and telling their story. This is the challenge of getting them out of their shell and making them feel that they deserve to have a voice, right? And to be able to see that A to B progression and to capture it in video would be super powerful. Jamie's awesome with video stuff, and he's connected to some other video people. Maybe you could talk with him, or maybe you could simply do it on Zoom. But if you could share little video clips, show me 2 minutes of a comeback kid, or ask your comeback kids at the beginning to tell their story on camera, and then after to tell their story. At the beginning, say you have 2 minutes to tell your life story. And then 2 months later, you have 2 minutes to tell your life story, and crop those two together. Might be interesting how their narratives about themselves and their lives change over time, and people love stories. So if you can incorporate that, it'd be powerful.
Jamie, I would love to talk to you about how we could partner or connect about if that's something that we can chat offline.
Yeah, you guys feel free to talk after.
Yeah, just message and we'll talk. Be cool. I'll make a note.
Great. Devin, what do you want to need in the next while?
Just business wise or personally, just whatever.
Either is good.
Okay. Business wise, I want to hire on a new creative director and an account manager, another one.
Okay.
I also want to find 1 or 2 CPG brands that are Chinese that are trying to expand overseas, because that's a big thing right now.
CPG?
Consumer packaged good.
Okay.
So anything from food product to anything sold in the grocery store, basically.
Okay.
And then, go ahead.
Sorry, can you just repeat that? What you're looking for when it comes to consumer packaged goods?
An account manager to work for my agency.
Okay.
A creative director, and then in the consumer packaged goods space, I want to find 1 or 2 Chinese companies looking to expand into North America. I want to pick 1 or 2 of them up as clients.
Interesting. That's really cool. Actually, the niche that I worked with before I was working with entrepreneurs was 90% of my clients were Chinese from the University of Toronto, actually. And I ended up having some interesting conversations about Chinese social media platforms. So
WeChat and all of that.
Yeah, I got WeChat and I'm like, well, that's a lot better than Facebook.
Yeah, a lot of people in Northern California, because a third of the people here are from some type of Asian descent. Everybody uses it in California. So It's really, really weird. A lot of people use that over here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. A lot of people know about that.
It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then personally, I think outside that, I just want before August next year to have 100,000 subs on YouTube.
Okay, awesome. Guys, my friend Tony Tovar, feel free to write his name down, Tony, Tony, Tovar, Tovar, has something right now. He's doing a beta of he's just brilliant and he knows a lot of shit about a lot of shit, but he is focusing on YouTube stuff right now. So you might want to just send him a message and say, Paloma said you're awesome with YouTube stuff, and just see where you guys can go from there. That's awesome. Okay. Anyway, who else didn't get a chance to go? Jesse and Katie? Victor?
Okay. Oh, yeah, Paloma, we do basically the same thing. So I'm actually quite interested in what you teach and how, you do your high-ticket sales and your methodology. So it sounds really interesting. But in terms of what I need, I just want to connect and maybe close for influencers and coaches. Kenny, right? You have a lot of people that are very passionate about what they do. And then they spend a lot of time on it. But the problem is nothing kind of sells itself unless, you know, it's like Tesla or something. So I mean, which is really a shame because you spend so much time and you can't really get it out and people can't buy it. So I mean, like you, Paloma, I help people do that, and you know, I just want to connect with influencing coaches that have something, you know, that's very transformative to their clients and, you know, can really help them.
Right. And Victor, instead of you don't teach people how to sell, right? You sell for people. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I teach people how to sell, but Victor, you're looking for influencers to sell for. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you connected with Janet Clark before?
Janet Clark? No.
Okay. She's a good person to connect with. She has something called the Freedom Shift and something called Sales Alliance. What she does, and she doesn't do it for free, she charges a fee, but she connects closers, and she has a lot of Dan Locke's people who are looking for what their next, you know, they're looking for influencers to sell for. She connects influencers with people who want to sell. So, I mean, I've been approached a lot of times being asked, will you sell for me? And I say no, because that's not my priority right now. I teach people how to sell. But I would connect with Janet Clark, and you can feel free to say, Paloma sent me and said that, and I'm looking for people to sell for. And she has an extensive community of influencers who are looking for someone to sell for them.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. But how do I get, I mean, is your resources like free on your Facebook group or something?
So my Confidence Sales University is not free. Okay. But I mean, it's an awesome resource, but it's not even available to the public really right now. A couple peeps who come on my parties, if they're interested, they message me and I get them in advance. But I'm finishing up my webinar before it's publicly available. If that's something that you're interested in, we can talk about that after. But if you're looking, I would lovingly say keep your eye on the prize. And it seems like the prize for you is selling for influencers, right? And so my question to you would be, what does your network of influencers look like currently? Like how many influencers do you know? How many influencers are on your Facebook page, your LinkedIn, etc.? And how many are you engaging in meaningful conversations with? How many are you moving to video and changing the sales environment, etc.?
How many? Not too many currently. I'm still working on my network so far.
Okay. Is there anything in particular that you find tough about networking with influencers?
Trying to add value to people. That's the thing. Without really knowing what kind of value I can add.
Okay.
I'll say.
Okay, so message me after this, and I'm going to send you a document called How to Influence Influencers. Okay? I created this because a lot of people would like to influence the world's most influential people, and they don't know how to. I'll basically explain to you that there's a dynamic that happens where when you approach an influencer, you kind of fangirl. I don't mean you, all of us do. And that's a problem because you want to build equal or higher status as opposed to looking up and saying, please like me, right? And so there are strategic ways that you can communicate. No worries, Kenny. We'll see you next time. There are strategic ways that you can communicate so that an influencer knows you, likes you, and actually respects you and doesn't just see you as a fangirl. Because as a person who receives a lot of private messages and a lot of people who are pitching to me all the time, I am really quick and really perceptive figuring out who has what kind of status, and we respond to people with high status. And so there's a lot they can do with branding and positioning. Victor, you came from Dan Locke School, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan Locke prepares you guys in some ways, and he, in terms of the positioning and the branding, I find as an outside observer that it's really lacking. And I say that with love because I feel like Dan Locke's people approach me every single day on LinkedIn, and they don't have clear differentiators, and putting something like I'm the Australian closer or I'm the purple-haired closer or whatever is not enough of a differentiator. And so, I mean, it might be interesting for me and you to talk about like what kind of training he does offer in terms of decommodifying yourselves.
But definitely tell you about what he does and things like that. So maybe that can help you.
Sure. So anyways, you can feel free to message me after, and I'm going to send you that doc, How to Influence Influencers, because It's important. A lot of our messages, if they're not designed strategically, they will be ignored. So we can talk about that another time. But thank you for sharing, Victor. And if anybody knows somebody who is looking for someone to sell for them, you guys feel free to contact Victor. Katie, you go quick, and then if anybody else didn't go, and then we'll wrap up.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
So I would love to actually spend more of my time doing what I really love, which is helping people with their health and energy. So any way that I can streamline, or rather than me calling all these different people or messaging all these different people, I'd rather just send like one message and send it out. And really get more clear in how to describe it, because it is very intuitive what I do. It's very personalized. So describing it in a way that resonates. And also, if you know people that are on a health and healing journey, that genuinely want to be healthier, that want to feel clearer and restore the energy flow of their body, anyone that you send me, I send you a 10% commission bonus. Because that really helps me. Then I can just focus my energy on what I really love doing, which is helping people. So I'd love to connect with you guys and refer each other clients and connections and things like that, and focus more on what we really love.
Great. Katie, how comfortable do you feel reaching out to people who have already built big audiences in the health sphere, and collabing and partnering with them?
I love that idea.
Yeah. Because, for example, today I went on down the rabbit hole of searching keto stuff. I went through Dr. Eric Berg. I went with Ken Berry, Stephanie Keto Person. There must have been 4 or 5 experts that and you don't have to go for top tier experts, because they're pitched all the freaking time, but you can build a crush list of people who have the exact same audience that you would like to address. And there's always holes that you can fill in that they don't.
Very true.
So it all has to do with the approach. It all has to do with that initial connection. And most initial connections are extremely boring, lack high status markers, and just don't cut through the noise. And so I would say figure out, number one, because guys, this kind of venue is a wonderful venue for people to say, okay, like pass me a client. But what I want for you guys more than the pass me a one-off client is to put yourself on a stage higher and higher and higher and higher up, so that people come to you and you don't have to go to people. I mean, prospecting is all, for a long time is part of our businesses, but the best of the best is if they come to you. And what you need to do for that is raise your platform and raise your status and your brand, etc., so that people know you exist, know where you are, know what your offer is, and there's a clear path that they can follow so that they can work with you. Okay, video I'm going to send you, if you remind me, is Iceberg Theory of Influence, because that one will be really helpful. That's for my course as well.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, darling. My pleasure. Jessie, did you go? Did everybody go?
I did not. But,
okay, close us off on this one.
So I guess what I need, I had to take a step back from my business, because life happens and all that stuff. And so I did a bunch of mindset stuff this year.
Yeah.
And so my word of the year for 2019 is going to be focus. So I'm going to focus on minimizing the stuff for me that feels good, the stuff for my business that feels good. And so what I'm going to be doing, at least in the first 2 quarters of next year for the business, is focusing on getting the reading clients and the one-on-one high package coaching clients. And then I'm also going to write the book and write the course on your hero's journey and tarot. And it's a basic beginner's course for anyone who's looking to learn tarot. So yeah, that's what I need. I do need those networking, the prospects and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my main focus.
Okay. I'll just ask you really quick and then we'll end off. Are you in the process of building an audience right now?
Yes.
And how big is your audience?
I'm on both Facebook and Instagram mainly, and then I'm also starting a YouTube channel again. So it's currently less than 500 followers on Instagram, but I'm going to get there before the end of the month.
Okay. So yeah, guys, I mean, the number one thing that I wish I knew earlier on was audience before assets, because you're going to create the best thing in the world, and then you're going to say, who wants it? And you're going to hear crickets, and then you're going to cry, and then you're going to Google painless ways to kill myself. Then you're going to feel sad. So instead of doing that, build your audience, build your audience, build your audience. And as you go, pull and continue market research, and even conversations like this help me to understand what my peeps need and want. You know, do enough of these and you really, really, really understand what people want and need. And so find ways to gather your people together, ask them, what are you struggling with? What would be fun for you? Would this be of interest to you? And don't stop asking those questions. Don't stop that dialogue, because the worst thing you can do is create your baby in isolation. And then Jason comes to you 2 years later and says, hey, nobody's buying this because you didn't create this as an iterative thing where we were going back and forth and helping each other. You created this in isolation. Like, you went up in your tower and built this thing, and then you said, who wants it? And nobody even knows this exists, right? So just build your audience at the same time. Figure out some kind of proprietary event you can do. I think tarot for entrepreneurs would be really fucking cool if you had tarot Tinder, where you figure out some fun way that you can quickly swipe through people and do their tarot readings. You have flash dances. What if you do a flash tarot reading where you show up in people's groups, you show up in 10 experts Facebook groups and you do tarot reading for the first 10 people who jump on, and then you kind of go from group to group. Create something that is worth paying attention to. So, and then of course create with your audience in mind, and with when people are begging you, you know what's cool? I'm really proud of the fact that whatever freaking question you guys ask me, I have a video in my course for it. You know why? They've worked with enough clients that I know what their problems are. So any question you guys ask me, I have multiple videos in my course that address it, because I created it to solve problems as opposed to just to do some entrepreneur masturbation. So anyways, friends, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate you. You're awesome. If I've promised you a resource, send me a PM and be patient with me. I'll get you that by tomorrow night. Otherwise, if there's any way else that you need help, you can pop yourself in my DMs, and we can talk about opportunities for working together. Love you guys, and I appreciate you for taking a leap and hopping on this crazy party. Namaste. Goodbye. I love you. Bye, guys. Have a good one.